UW-Madison freshmen out there? Well, some UW-Madison freshmen who are past their midterms now looking for something to do are hoping to break the world's largest Rice Krispie treat this weekend. Preparations for the baking started today. Thousands of pounds of donated cereal, marshmallows, butter. The plan is to create a 15,000-pound treat. The current record's just over 10,000. Best part, though, may be once the weighing is done, anyone nearby can weigh in on how it tastes.
When I was little, I feel like it's one of those little kid dreams. It's like, oh, I want to break a world record. It'd be cool, Got some of the Guinness books and was looking at them. I was like, wow, a lot of these records were cool. So when someone suggested like, hey, you should try to actually break this record, even though it wasn't kind of a joking way, I was like, it kind of sparked. It was just like, oh, I wonder if that's actually like physically possible. So when I looked it up, I just did some of the math, like how much would it cost if I we bought everything where we did before, and like if we used our like cooking method with this, and like, oh, if we just upscaled it, had more people, had more stove tops, like, is this something that we could physically do? And when I ran the calculation, I was like, okay, like this is something that we could do at Madison, and what better of a place than a giant college where you've got thousands of people, tens of thousands of people that could come and eat the Rice Krispie and help make the Rice Krispie, and people like could help get publicity out, things like that. So I was like, hey, if there's ever a time to do something like this, it's now and it's here. Yeah, the organization kind of started out immediately. It was like, yeah, everyone was like, this is cool. Well, it was in our dorm, and a lot of our friends on the floor and other people on the floor were kind of split between like, wow, this is really cool, you should try to do that, and the other half were just like, this is never gonna work, don't even bother trying, this is stupid. And I kind of took that personally and was just like, I'm gonna go make this happen, so you can shut your mouth.
So technically we started like hardcore working on this past semester, just like getting everything in line, getting all the plans done, paperwork, figuring what to do, what to buy, when to buy it. So I don't know, it's been a lot of work, right, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's been fun though. It's a good learning experience, yeah. Bye Joe, have fun.
So we started out with cutting open bags of marshmallows and scooping up balls of butter from these giant blocks of butter that we were shipped. And you get 1 package of marshmallows and 2 tablespoons of butter, go into a Ziploc bag, which gets the air squeezed out of it, zips shut, and zip tied shut. That way the air can't get out of it. And then the zip ties also, because when they go into the garbage cans, sometimes the zipper would break open, and then you'd have a mess inside of your garbage can of water. But anyway, so you get 8 of these bags go into 1 garbage can that is about 2/3 of the way full, boiling water. They sit in there for approximately 15 to 20 minutes until everything's fully melted down and mixed. And then someone comes over with these gloves, pulls them out, and brings them over to the station where there are these black tubs full of Rice Krispie cereal. And then someone cuts open the bags, mixes, like dumps all the mixture out of the bags into the tub full of Rice Krispies. They slide it down to the next person, who mixes it all up to have one homogeneous mixture, and then someone else takes that tub, brings it over to the mold, dumps it in, and then brings the black tub back to be refilled with cereal. And we just repeated this process thousands of times until we broke the record. There's also a smoother in the mold. Once we dumped the Rice Krispies into the mold, we didn't want to have like a giant mound or a dome. We wanted it all to be relatively flat, and especially that helped the heat get out of the Rice Krispies. When you mix out, the fresh batch that got dumped in, that was one problem that we thought we were going to have, was that heat's going to get trapped in this thing, and when it's time to drop the mold and cut the thing, it's going to be warm in the center and it's going to fall apart on us. So by smoothing it out, that helped distribute the heat and helped it cool off. That way when we cut it, we didn't have any problems later.
What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
The weather? Well, if it rains, it rains. We have tents and tarps to cover the stuff that we need to keep dry. This stuff we can probably keep going if it rains. The propane burners will keep burning, and we can get some marshmallows melting at least.
Okay, so we're setting up all the propane cookers, getting ready to start boiling all the water. We're on our way over to get more of the propane tanks, and all of a sudden we start feeling rain. And we were like, okay, this is a problem now. We need to keep the water boiling, and we need to drop marshmallows really soon. We're already 4 hours behind schedule, and we need to start cooking, otherwise this project isn't going to happen. And then it starts raining kind of hard, and we're getting kind of nervous. We look at the weather. The weather's like, all right, the rain's going to stop in an hour. So that was kind of what we were banking on, but looking at the sky, it's not looking good. And as the rain starts to come down heavier, we realize the ground's getting wet. That's going to be that's a problem for people who are going to be walking back and forth. So we start putting down cardboard and things like that for people to foot traffic on the grass. We make sure that the tent is closed up so that stuff doesn't blow inside there. We have to finish setting up the mold, which we don't have completed yet. And we realized that, at least I thought, that it's not gonna be the biggest problem that it's raining right now, but the rain is gonna impact the rest of the weekend and who shows up later today and tomorrow. So that's kind of where my mental state is. I felt throughout the entire project that we were going to have the most difficulty recruiting people to work the night shifts. That's why I'd factored into our calculations that we're going to, reduce our production from 30 burners down to like 6 burners or 10 burners if we have enough people. But as we started to go into the night, we were still holding strong until about 2 a.m. And once 2 a.m. rolls around, we start losing people. And that was kind of a problem. We're down to about 5 people at around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And with 5 people, it's really hard to run this operation considering we need...
How'd the night go, Lacey?
It went. That is all I have to say about it.
Last night turnout was pretty low. I think when I left at 11 p.m. and came back at 2 p.m. And when I came back there was 5 people, including myself, and we didn't get above 12 until about 8 o'clock this morning.
Joe, how'd the night go?
It went okay. We were down a lot of people. We were down to 5 people for a while. Got dark and cold. A lot of people went home, but we were able to keep cooking, so that was good. We shut down most of the propane cookers due to lack of people, and then swapped out all the water, so now we got clean water in there. I'm going to start it back up again pretty soon, and we're going to be good to go as soon as more people show up.
I've been here since 2 a.m. It is currently 6:30 p.m. I've been here since 2 a.m. but I'm feeling good. Yeah. Caffeine is the greatest invention, so shout out to whoever came up with that idea. Pizza's good too. You can definitely quote me on those. So
Oliver was the other co-president when we started the organization, so he was very much wanted to be involved. He helped us get some of the sponsors. He helped organize things. He was always there. He was trying to help get other people on board, get people hyped up about the project. He was really helpful for a lot of stuff. We had our differences along the way, as most business partners do, but he really came through in the end especially. He was really helpful in getting other people to start working and came up with new ideas during the cooking process to get people involved, or start getting donations, things like that, to help charities. And yeah, he was also there through a lot of the nights, and he was one of the star players there for sure.
He's a great leader. He doesn't like talking to people as much, so he has me do that and Cole do that and the others, but he's a good guy. For a project that started out as a joke, getting this far is a dream. I've had friends who doubted it from the beginning be forced to eat their words and help out. I've had the joy of watching kids build, projects and play with gooey marshmallows in their hands and stuff. I've seen parents, I've seen grandparents volunteer their time. It's been a joy. I'll be disappointed if we don't make 15,000 pounds, but at the same time, whatever happens, at this point, the more that we make, the more money we will be able to raise for the charities, Camp Kesem and United Way. And that's what's important at this point. Once we break the record and get as much support for them as possible,
I was super excited that we were about to break the record, and after about 2 minutes of standing up there, I was just like, all right guys, we just need to get this done so that we can keep moving, because everyone kind of stopped working there. And I mean, I was excited, but at the same time I could look out and see 5,000 more pounds of food that needed to be made. So it wasn't so much for me about breaking the record at that point, it was more about keeping working, keeping people moving, getting things done. Because for me, I felt like this record, in order to break it, if we broke the record by 1 pound, that's cool, we broke the record. But at the same time, it's like, if you're gonna make 10,000 pounds of Rice Krispie treat, you might as well keep going and make a bunch more, because we had this stuff. Alright, gotta get back to work.
You ready? All right, here we go! Wait for him. That's my shirt. Got it?
Would you call this your biggest achievement?
So far in my life, yes, I would say that this is the most impressive thing that I've done thus far. The final weight was 11,327 pounds. So it was just over 1,000 pounds over the record, depending on where you see that record documented. I mean, from the start, I wasn't really trying to prove anything. From the start, it was just kind of like a goofy, like, hey, let's make a Rice Krispie treat, just joking like everyone else was. But as we got more into it, I thought, if we can pull this off, this is going to be something that's crazy, something that most people don't generally do. And I thought, if I can pull this off, I can do pretty much anything. I don't have to worry about, finding a job or, things like that. Like, I feel like my future just kind of like took a back seat, and I thought, if I can do this, it'll work out for me in the end. So I was trying to prove, to myself that I could do something that was this big of a scale. But then also I was trying to prove something to my parents, particularly my dad. Because I feel like when I first told him about it, he was a little bit skeptical of the idea. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this project. And he kind of all along was like, yeah, you probably can. But he was always skeptical of the timing or how much work it would take, and was telling me things like that. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this and you're going to see.
We aren't worried about making money back. We're worried about making money for the charities. Okay. So far, we are doing fantastically, though. Considerably better than I expected, admittedly. You know, I've given money to Joe several times. You can just, you know, see mostly $20 bills here. So we're making a lot of money. Do some real good. We're happy with it. It's gonna take a while though.
A lot of hard work, but really rewarding.
I just want to say a couple things. I'm very, very proud of my grandson Joe and the organization that he set up to do this project. This is a project that you can't pay money to earn. You have to learn it, and I think he's doing a heck of a job. Thank you.
So everybody who watches this video, come by Krispie like within the week because it's going to be around.
And what if I told you that this documentary is probably going to be done in a month?